Welcome to The Real and the Woo. I'm your host, Lauri Stern. Join me as I invite experts and friends to discuss a range of topics, from the factual and practical to the mystical and magical. Consider this your virtual happy hour filled with lively, authentic, and meaningful conversations meant to inform, inspire, and ignite your curiosity. Whether you are very real or super woo, this podcast is just for you. Hi, it's Lauri. Welcome to another episode of Mindfulness Mondays, where I bring you just a little bit of a snippet of an idea, a thought, randomly, or a download that I had that I wanted to bring to you on a Monday to set your week off, hopefully in a really good way. So the thought of the day, the quote of the day, the idea of the day is small, brave moves repeated open doors. So small, brave moves repeated opens doors, whether they're brave moves or moves with a little bit of uncertainty. When you do something repetitively or repeatedly, not sure which applies here, it does open some doors. It can also really turn people off, right? So I love this idea, this quote, because tenacity is one of my middle names. And I believe tenacity is an example of doing small or big, brave moves towards a goal. Some of those moves take courage, they take collaboration, they take learning how to use your voice and speak up for yourself or someone else. It doesn't mean not always taking no for an answer, but if you really believe in the value of your idea, your mission, your purpose, and you are hopeful that a yes will bring connection, peace, and healing to others, then I would expect that you'd want to keep banging on doors and making those moves and making whatever noise you want to make, squeaky wheels, get the grease, and so forth and so on, and not take no for an answer with respect. Tenacity with purpose, with intention is wonderful. Tenacity to be a jerk or an asshole and just keep asking when the answer has been no is quite different, right? So those of us with kids know we have to say no to a candy bar before dinner, right? Even if they keep asking, please, please, please. Or my son would want to wear his, any uniform, baseball, soccer, to school the day before a game. And of course, as a mom, I don't want to fucking do laundry just because he wants to wear his uniform to school. So that would be a no. But sometimes it would be a yes. It would just depend, right? The point is how the question is being asked and how the no is being received is important. And so when you are asking and getting a no, you really need to listen to where that no is hitting you in your body. Is it in your mind, your jaw, your gut, your heart, your sense of security? And that might be a good clue that it's a good time to keep going or a good time to take a step back and pick your battles. So that also brings up the idea of how to create healthy boundaries. And the word boundary is also a little upsetting to some people, fearful or aggravating to some people, especially when those of us on a path of self-awareness, interest and curiosity often learn to create boundaries. And then what happens? The people around us wig out. And then sometimes we give up or we lose friends or family members because we've created a boundary. But I'd like you guys today, at least not just for today, but the week ahead and many, many more weeks to come, that creating boundaries is a form of self-care. It indicates that you have enough self-worth to create a boundary for your self-care. So whether that means not letting somebody in that's hurt you, if that means turning off your phone at a certain time of night when people are used to texting you all night long, if that means, not playing music at dinner when you usually do and you just want a little quiet. Those are just small examples. But, boundaries in bigger ways can be not sharing everything with someone, whether it's a spouse or a friend or a sister or a brother or your kids, or making sure your kids understand too, speaking of kids, that they're allowed to say no to their friends. They don't have to say yes to every plan, and nor do they hopefully feel they need to be invited, all the time. And when they're not, of course, I hope that their friends are kind when they exclude them or whatever. I know this time of year, right after Halloween, there's a lot of hurt feelings in the air of girls and boys who, didn't get asked to be part of the big group costume frenzy. But even there is an example where if your child was inadvertently or purposefully left out, that he or she is allowed to create a boundary. If this is a certain friend or group of friends who have repeatedly dissed them or dismissed them, then the reminder is encourage your child to go where they're wanted and to create a boundary that people who treat them poorly shouldn't get right back in that door. They should earn their trust back. And that's how we as adults also want to be, right? People are going to hurt us. We hurt ourselves, and we want to be able to be forgiving, but also with a sense of awareness and discernment that perhaps this particular situation or person needs a boundary from you. And boundary setting is a practice just like anything else. But boundaries also allow us to create plans and stick to them, not in an OCD, inflexible way, but especially when I was raising younger kids, how I would set aside certain things, of course, to do what I have to do for my family. But there were times I set aside things just because I was afraid not to say yes to my child, or I don't know, whatever it is. But I think you understand what I'm saying, right? There's little micro decisions. I've said this before, micro decisions every day take our power away. So when we're saying yes, when we really mean no, when we are allowing our parenting, our job, our friends to get in the way of staying on a schedule or a workout plan or a plan of sobriety, for example, and people constantly try to whittle and nudge and say, oh, come on, not this time or whatever, and we give in. That's the kind of boundary I'm talking about. You are allowed to stick to a schedule, set a schedule, make a plan, stick to a plan. And when you find yourself off course, ask yourself, is it because you're really doing what you have to do? Or you allowed yourself to step aside or step over a boundary just to get along, or just because you were afraid of missing out, right? FOMO is huge. And what I like to remind people is instead of having FOMO, create a boundary and have JOMO. So joy of missing out. My teacher Rama gave me that. All right. So a couple of things to think about this week. How are you ready, willing, and able? And do you set boundaries? And are you able to stick to them without being defensive or forgetting that they matter to you? And also tenacity. How are you displaying not taking no for an answer in a really healthy way, and taking no for an answer also in a really healthy way by backing off, right? Because if we keep knocking on that door, and it goes back to the situation with friends, if we keep knocking on a door and we keep getting no, then probably it's not the right door for us now or maybe ever. But if in our intuitive mind, in our gut, that no we hear might be a consideration of a maybe or possibility, then maybe go ahead and ask another time and see what happens, or ask in a different way. So I hope you guys have a great week. This is Lauri from Custom Designed Wellness and the Real and the Woo podcast. I have revamped my website somewhat. I would love for you to go take a look, www.customdesignedwellness.com, and let me know what you think. I have a little video on there. I have made it easier for you to book a free chat with me, much easier to book time for sessions with me, one-on-one, or for your group or for your workshop. I do a lot of things all in an effort to help people matter and understand their internal wiring, their internal instructions, and how to rewrite them, reprogram them, rewire them for the modern bodies we all have now, dealing with the things we're dealing with now, right? So how we coped and navigated and dealt with issues maybe even just 2 years ago is different than we're meant to be dealing with some things now. So please reach out and let me know how I can help you. Reiki, yoga, sculpting, toning, energetic wellness, coaching, conversations, dialogue, chakra balancing. Come find me on YouTube also. I'll put the link in the show notes like I do. I appreciate your support. And if you could please also subscribe, leave a rating here, make a comment on YouTube, Instagram, all about the algorithms. And you guys know I'm a unicorn and I really dislike having to play those games. But for now, I would love if you would be on my team and play the game with me. So do all the things like share, subscribe, sign up, forward, share, pass along, whatever you decide works for you. I appreciate you just showing up and hearing me. All right, that's it for today. Have a great day, a great week ahead, and I will be back soon.